金色ラブリッチェ。2学期もあと2日ね。
今日と明日が授業で、土日を抜けたら月曜が終業式で、そして冬休みですね。シルビアさんは冬休みお忙しいそうで。
1日も公務が外せないわ。年末はさすがに開くけれど、開いたらすぐに帰国して、今度は本国でいろいろな家を回らなきゃ。
大変ですね。
菊千代くんは？
年末はゆっくりできそうです。年始は7日で61の企業を回る過密スケジュールですが。
Holy shit. Nobles sure do have it rough, huh?
庶民はおこたでぬくぬくみかんでも食べてるよ。いいなぁ。ねえ聞いて、2人とも。エルったらひどいの。あんなにみっちり予定を入れてるのに、もっと公務が入れられそうとか言い出すのよ。そりゃクリスマスを無理やり開けてもらったのは私だけど。あ、なに？背中がかゆい。私の話聞いてくれてないのね。かゆい。背中かゆい。何これ。
Reina was squirming.
冬は乾燥しますし、厚着になるので汗もできますからね。
かも。やばい。奥だ。背中の奥の方かゆい。
Ah, sounds like hell. She was trying to reach around to her back, but her shoulder didn't seem flexible enough. She couldn't reach. However...
ちょっとジルビー、書いて。はいはい。
Scritch, scritch.
どう？ちょっと違う。もうちょっと横の。上？違うな。もっとこ
う。場所がわからないようですね。
That totally happens, especially when you dress heavy in winter. It could be quite perplexing, even if you used a back scratcher or similar to try and satisfy the itch.
意識したらもっと痒くなってきた。どうしましょう。ここかしら。シルビー、微妙な力加減でやらないで。逆にかゆい。
Reina was squirming. Here? Rub. I rubbed against the area beneath her shoulder.
変な声出ちゃった。そこそこ、クリーンと。
That's so? Better keep it up. Then I went around behind her and gave her some solid scratches. レーナ、すごい顔になっているわ。いやこれは。Reina was squirming. The course of events led me to do this, but her back sure was soft. My hand still remembered the softness of her breasts, but her back was also pleasantly tender.
おはようございます。
Whoops! Someone else had come. I pulled my hand away.
おはようエルチン。
朝から何です？変な声を出して。
いや気持ちよくてさ。サンキューオーロ。もういいよ。オーロは人の背中を描くのも上手なのね。
Everyone has at least one talent at their disposal, and I guess scratching people's backs is mine. If so, my life would be hopeless.
よくわかりません。
Just as Elsa set her back down, she began to wriggle her shoulders.
どっかしたエルチン。
いえ、ちょっと背中が。
こっちもかゆいかよ。グッドタイミング。今オーロの素晴らしい才能が見つかったところなの。
I apparently have a knack for scratching people's backs. Now that I took the time to say it out loud, it was a depressing skill.
エルもぜひ試してみるといいわ。
いえ、私は普通に手が届きますが。
Elsa twisted her shoulder and scratched on her own. Athletic types like her seemed to have limber joints.
ダメよ。オーロにやってもらう方がいいわ。オーロ、やってあげて。
But for some reason, the princess ordered her to stop.
では、 お願いできますか？
Will do. I went around to her back. Around here?
もう少し下。あ、そのあたりです。
Then I scratched in a massage-like fashion. Elsan's back must have been muscular and felt so taut and springy. It had its rather alluring points for sure.
いい力加減です。おっしゃる通り、市松殿には才能があるかも。ヒットした。
エルが見たこともない顔をしているわ。
写メ撮ろうよ、この顔。おやめください。
What is she doing? I'd love to see it for myself. It was a pity that I couldn't see her expression while I scratched her back.
おはよう。背中がかゆいわ。次の生贄発見。それかこめ。
かっこ
何？サオロ、次の子だよ。張り切ってどうぞ。
どうぞ。
On it. I made my way behind Jogasaki now that Reina and Sylvie had caught her.
後ろに来ないで。
What? She shouted at me.
ごめん、あやかっち。
ジョークだったのよ。怒らないで。
慣れ慣れしい真似はやめてちょうだい。
Sorry. Her previous hostility may have disappeared, but I still wouldn't consider us on great terms. My attempt to touch her back without asking was a mistake, and I'd better reflect on that.
まったく。後ろに来られると思い出しちゃうじゃない。
Huh? She left, still angry. What little time we had remaining of our second term passed in the usual boisterous, rowdy fashion.
あやかっちって大丈夫なのかな。
What do you mean? Reina asked upon our return to the dorm.
いや、私自分のことで手一杯でさ、あやかっちのことを心配もしてなかったけど、あっちも結構えぐい体験してるよね。
Guess so. Having a guy like me learn something so embarrassing must have been downright humiliating for her, especially when she hated my guts. If you were to make a bulleted list, she may have suffered in a different sense from Reina. This whole mess started because of a mistake Jogasaki had made, but it was still very much an accident. There was no need for my conscience to eat me over it, but I couldn't ignore it completely. Then again, it'd be rude to ask her if anything's been out of place since what happened.
お尻の調子どうって聞くようなもんだしね。まあ私それとなく聞いとくよ。オーロは気にしないでよし。
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. I'd only make a mess of things if I were to get involved. If you think there's a problem and I can help, let me know. I'll do whatever you need.
うい。ドーン。
Whoop! Reina came flying at me. I guess it was time for another lap pillow, and I easily caught her. You've totally taken a liking to this.
ツボみたい。背中かくのもうまいし、オーロってツボつくのがうまい的な才能あるかも。将来マッサージ師とかになったら？
Ah, that'd be nice. I'd love to work at a massage parlor and service some cute high school girls in their athletic prime or beautiful older ladies with nothing better to do.
スケベかよ。
99.9% of men think this way. Oh, come to think of it, Reina.
ん？
I combed my hand through her hair, then moved that same hand to her back. Touch. I touched her back just like I'd done this afternoon.
なに
Oh, just kind of felt like it. If her hair and face were okay, then her back should be fine too. At least, that was the judgment I made when I touched her. You have some real slender shoulder blades. Feels like they'd snap easily.
女の子なんだししゃあないっしょ。てか何急に。本当にマッサージに目覚めたとか？
It's nothing like that. I just felt like it.
もう。
Reina sounded embarrassed. Should I not have?
いや、ではないけど。なんかくすぐったいっていうか、変な感じ。
Yeah, I can tell it's ticklish. I stopped and pulled my hand away when I noticed the iffy expression she wore on her face. Hmm?
もうちょっと触るのはいいよ。
You sure? I would help myself then. Touch, touch, touch. She was so soft. Her shoulder blades felt wonderful and firm. My heart was pounding each time I caressed her.
ねえオーロ、これエロ目的でやってない？
That wasn't obvious.
おいおいかよ。そういうのは違うんじゃない？特に今は。
Sorry. I let go. My intentions were pure at the start, but touching her had certainly put me in the mood. Da! With Reina still laid on my lap, the back of her head rubbed against my crotch. The impact from that was, oh!
おう、硬くなってる。わかる。
Hey, Reina.
セクハラはそっちが先。
That wasn't my intention, so it just kinda turned out that way. Strictly speaking, it wouldn't be sexual harassment.
えい。
Ah, hey! This time she purposely pressed her hand against the crotch of my pants. My dick was already half erect, but when she did that to me,
敏感ですな。
oh, shut up. You could clearly see my bulge through my pants. Damn it, this was embarrassing.
これは何？いわゆる溜まってるってやつ？
Reina's love for dirty jokes always seemed to turn up at times like these. Unbelievable. Yeah, you nailed it. I'm pent up. I haven't jacked off lately.
そうなんだ。
Unsurprisingly, my honest reply shook Reina to her core.
なんで抜いてないの？
Well, you, ever since then...
Hmm?
I remember you and Yogasaki whenever I try to, and that makes me feel too guilty to jack anything.
ああ、そうなんだ。
I overwhelmed her and won through enthusiasm. She shot me a conflicted smile and was at a loss for words. Come on, move it.
おうよ、ソーリー。
I got her off my lap. Man, talk about a troublesome situation. I hadn't masturbated since Sunday, which was 4 days ago now, and my dick was as hard as a rock because of it. Either way, I had to reduce the stimulation. Didn't seem like it was going to die down otherwise. Take deep breaths, me. Food. Reina must have felt she'd done something wrong and got a meek look on her face. Damn, have a little more remorse, moron.
ねえ、オーロ。
Huh? Oh!
おりゃ！
Well, looks like it's time for another cut. So I'll see you in a second. Reina finished wiping away the mess and took a breather.
そういえば服にかかっちゃった。制服どうしよう。
Don't you have another?
あるけど、明日来たら週末だから洗濯でしょ？その後月曜が終業式だから、一着分手間が増えるじゃん。
Ah, sorry, I wasn't thinking. I guess you needed to be mindful of both parties' clothing when getting a blowjob, huh? Probably would have been better if you were naked.
だね。その方が。バーカ。そうそう乙女の柔肌を晒すかい。
Darn! Didn't sound like I was going to be seeing her naked anytime soon. Then again, it would be impossible for me to stop myself if she did let me look, so it was for the best.
顔がベタベタする。もう帰る。このままここにいたら顔から妊娠しそう。
An impressive comment to be sure. Well, thanks, Reina.
いいのいいの。こっちも興味本位ってやつだし。それに。
Ah. Reina suddenly leaned in close. Something soft smooched against my lips. Reina.
やーい、チンと関節キス。バイバイ。
She left with a cackle. What the heck was her deal? Man. A kiss, huh? She really got one over on me. Although she'd given me a blowjob until just moments ago, something told me I was the more embarrassed one in this scenario. The final day of second term.
今日が終われば来週は終業式だけでもう冬休みですね。
That reminds me, how's winter break going to affect radio calisthenics?
もちろん続けますよ。お休みでも朝は朝一緒に燃えましょうと言いつつも、お休みに入ると皆さんご実家に帰省されるので1日2日やったらおしまいとなりそうです。
Really? Alright.
来週からは忙しくなりますわ。
You've got the same schedule as Sylvie?
憂鬱ですわ。王女さんは大変なのですね。頑張りましょう、神なるさん。心が燃えてればどんな過密スケジュールも熱い気持ちでこなせます。バーニングですよ。ですわね。
What's gotten into you?
燃えてきましたわ。さあゲロ、2学期の締めくくりにふさわしくラジオ体操気合を入れていきますわよ。ファイヤーです。
The hot-blooded types are multiplying. For the middle of winter, it was one sweltering morning.
おっすー。
Oh.
先週はもっとすごいことしたんだし、照れるのやめてくれる？
Yeah, I gotcha. Reina turned up in her usual high spirits, so I answered her with as much of my usual energy as I could. Oh man. I was sure she meant it as a prank, but I wasn't such a ladies' man that I could act normally around her after that spur-of-the-moment blowjob. But when that extended into the classroom, our relationship became more complex. I've decided to treat you-know-what like no big deal to overcome my shyness.
そう。
That being the case, wanna come over again tonight?
バーカ。
Reina let out a shrill laugh. Good, back to our usual mood.
おはようら。何の話？
Just about how the massage Reina gave me felt really nice.
ああ、いいわね、レイナ。私もしてほしいわ。
シルビーにはない部分を使うからね。
We acted like our usual selves and ended the second term on a high note.
オーロ君、よろしいですか？
Sure? Kikuchio called out to me.
気になることがあってさ。
Saigo and Yamamoto were trailing closely behind him. We moved away from the girls to chat.
実は昨日も3人で例の錦の湯へ行っていたのですが。
Just how badly do you all want to see naked girls?
誤解です。僕たちもう最近では普通に銭湯に通うのが好きになっただけです。
そうですよ。
ちょうどいいんだよ、あそこ。
Ah, so bathhouses are all the rage now?
ええ。
When all was said and done, the Japanese really did love to hop into a wide open bath.
あの庶民的な武骨なタイルと湯船の狭さが快適なんです。僕の家にある浴場は大理石やヒノキで作った 25メートルプールくらいの広さなので落ち着かない。
Everything you just said ticks me off to no end.
あそこは番台のおばあ様が大変上品でいらっしゃるから、見守られながらお風呂というのがなんというか子供の頃に戻ったようで安らぐというか、できれば一緒に入って背中を流してもらったり、いや逆に僕が彼女の背中を、たまらん。
Limit your fetish to MILFs. Hold off on chasing after anyone older than that until you hit 50.
男3人裸の付き合いっていいもんなんだ。何も隠さず友人と接するってさ。市松も今度は一緒に来ないか？お前の裸も、いや男同士の友情の意味で。
You've gone way past that.
とにかく錦の湯に行っていたのですが。
また例のあの野球部の連中とぶつかったんだよ。
From Hamanan?
はい。
It wasn't unusual for the whole club to head to the bathhouse as a group. I went all the time to wash away the sweat after practice back in the day. Talk about bad timing, huh? Why don't you get used to that already, though? I get that you're scared of some huge crowd of crew-cut muscleheads, but it's not like they pick fights with you, right?
いえ、怖かったわけではありません。おっしゃる通り、さすがに慣れました。
我々とは離れたところで入っていますし、
あの若々しい角刈りヌードに囲まれるってのもなかなか。
Sounds like there's no issue then.
はい。僕たちはいいのですが、島君がいなかったのです。
Torio wasn't?
それでさ、聞く気はなかったんだけど聞こえてきたんだ。
島くんですけど。
野球部を辞めるかもしれない。
What in the world is going on?
本人からは何も聞いてない。
Oh, Chieka has a cute voice. That evening. I called Torio several times since lunch break, but he wouldn't pick up. Later, I got in touch with a mutual acquaintance. However, it seemed he hadn't been in touch with her either.
日曜日、オーロ君に会いに行ったんでしょ？何も聞かなかったの？
Sorry.
棟梁君は口下手なんだから気を使ってあげてよ。
I'm not his keeper or anything. I'll send him a message too, so just tell him to call me the second he gets out of practice.
はいはい。
Huh?
なんだかんだでオーロ君、いつでも棟梁君のこと心配してるよね。好きだよ、オーロ君のそういう優しいとこ。
Just tell him to call me. I hung up. Huh. How the heck was this going to play out, for crying out loud? There was no real way of telling since we went to different schools, but it did seem that news of Torio quitting the baseball club hadn't gone public yet. It was infeasible in the first place, since he was a star of hope for the Japanese baseball industry. The only logical reason for quitting would be due to an injury or otherwise, but he seemed fine when I saw him yesterday. Then, the only other reason I could imagine was the slump he'd mentioned before had gotten worse. Everyone saw him as a rising star, which likely contributed to further stress and mental burnout. It wasn't impossible that mentality of his was his greatest weakness. Give me a break. I could only hope this didn't turn into one giant pain in the neck.
どうかした？
Nothing.
ならその新規癖つら引っ込めろ。タバコがまずくなる。
Talk about harsh.
お前、嘘がつけるほどポーカーフェイスうまくないぞ。何があったんだよ。
Ria took a drag on her cigarette and looked downward as she spoke. This had become clear to me lately. Whenever she didn't look directly at me, it meant she was a little embarrassed. Thanks a bunch for your concern.
心配なんてしてねえよ。
How adorable. Sorry though, but I don't have enough of a handle on the situation to ask for advice yet.
あっそ。
That made me feel a little bit better though. Thank you, Ria.
だから礼言われることは何も。チェ。
She really was cute. But how about that? The impatience had shown on my face that badly? Maybe Chieka was right. Maybe I was still worried about him. Even though I was done with him.
じゃレイナ、戸締まりよろ。
I could see a group of girls leaving one of the nearby classrooms. The fashion studio. I peeked inside. Like last time, Reina was working hard on one of her designs. As expected, she was so focused on her task she hadn't noticed me yet. The golden ratio, was it? She was working out her design using protractors, rulers and the like to measure and allocate the clothing.
こっちを伸ばすとこのレースがな。
She seemed to be deep in thought while working through her process. Will it be bad to interrupt? Better head home. Just as I was about to leave the room. Oh, sorry. My shoulder smacked into the door.
あ、オーロ、どうしたん？
Nothing, I was just passing by and saw you were working. I won't interrupt. Wrap up here before it gets too dark.
おう。
I headed outside.
オーロ。
Reina caught up to me and crudely raked her fingers through her hair.
帰るなら一緒しよう。
You sure?
いいよ。今日はスランプ気味。スランプの時に根を詰めると変なデザインになるから。
Gotcha. We decided to head back together. It's getting dark anyway, so this worked out perfectly.
だね。
We kept conversation light.
はあ、いよいよ冬休みだね。
The sun had set and her white sigh instantly dissolved into the dark of night.
来週は終業式。つまり成績判定だけど。いかがですか、オーロさん。今のお気持ちは。
It's new to me, so I couldn't say. We had taken a bubble sheet-based test the other day, and our scores would come back Monday. It wasn't just a test grade, but a report card of sorts that also took our regular approaches to learning into account. Yeah, things were not looking good for me. Not only were my test grades abysmal, but my study habits were just as poor. I work hard to stay at a level where it won't interfere with graduation. I want to graduate as peacefully as possible from Noble Academy to take advantage of their connections and eventually become a civil servant.
年寄りくさー。
Oh, shut up! It was more than enough for me. Outsiders would likely consider it lame or believe it meant my life was miserable. But that's how I wanted it. I was exhausted by the idea of anything more complex than that.
そういえば、
Yeah?
朝から変な顔してたけど、何かあった？
Yeah. Reina's sharp observational skills were as sharp as ever and had struck fire for the first time in ages. There was no reason for me to hide it from her. You remember Torio, right? The guy from the other day.
島君。
He might be a little off his game. He didn't say anything about it yesterday, so I doubt it's anything major. Even if there were, it's none of my business.
関係なくないでしょ。 そんな一日中しかめっ面してるんだから。友達なんだからほっとけない。オーロってそういうやつだよ。
Maybe. Personally, I didn't think I fit into the nice guy mold. However, I wondered if it might be true now that Reina had said as much out loud. I guess it'd be great if it were. Our conversation naturally carried on and she ended up joining me all the way here. I bet you remember everything that's happened the second you walk in here, huh?
まあね。
Our sexual encounters had occurred in this very room, and it must have weighed heavily on her mind.
でもまあ恥ずかしがることはないよね。50-50で。
I didn't know what type of drug it was, but it didn't sound like she was put off enough by me to run away. Reina took a seat in her usual spot on the bed. Like clockwork, I handed her a ramune.
サンキュ。でさ、島くんだけど、
Yeah.
オーロって島くんのこと嫌ってるとかではないの？
Huh? Why?
だってつい先週だよ。島くんが来て、オーロ精神的にメタメタだったじゃん。
True. Only Reina knew that I cried my eyes out after I saw Torio.
でもほら、前の土曜、あれしちゃった日の午前は普通に遊んでたよね。どういう感情なの？
It's not as if I hate him. At the end of the day, we'd been friends since we were little. You've got childhood friends too, don't you? Like that handsome Hongo-san.
うん。
I wonder if it's the same. You get this feeling where you both do and don't force yourself to get along. My relationship with Torio is like that.
わかるような、わからんような。
Reina tilted her head. In her case, I was sure she wouldn't burst into tears if she happened to run into Hongo-san. Our differences were trivial as far as I was concerned. It's just a little obnoxious, I guess. Him, or maybe more so when I remembered what happened between us. It was so obnoxious it made me cry. But it isn't annoying anymore.
そうなの？
Yeah, it's all out of my system now. Thanks to everything you did for me.
ああ。
I was talking about the lap pillow, not the sex stuff.
わかってるって。いい話風だったのに、エロネタ挟まないでよ。
Anyhow, thanks to your incredible thighs, I don't consider him obnoxious anymore. Or the past, for that matter. After crying on her lap that night, I was able to think much more clearly than before. I'd come to realize that I was able to attend Noble Academy and meet Reina because I'd given up on the baseball club.
そっか。照れるにゃー。なんか私、いい感じのことをしてたっぽい？
It was a fine lap pillow. Reina smirked. She had people like it wear only second nature, yet didn't recognize such an ability as one of her strong or weak points.
オーロ。
Yeah?
あの時の約束はまだ有効だからね。
Promise?
ここ。
She patted her thighs.
また来たくなったらいつでも来ていいって。
Huh? She was smiling bashfully. This promise, huh? Of course I hadn't forgotten. I mean, heck. How about right now then?
はい？
If I said I wanted to right now, what would you do? Now she looked stumped. It was an abuse of our promise. This was supposed to be for when I wanted to cry, so I had no reason to have her provide a lap pillow at the moment. Not to mention that the lap pillow yesterday actually turned into an erotic incident. If she gave her consent, there was no telling how this would play out. But...
スケベ。
I won't deny that. For as awkward as Reina looked, her grin never faded.
じゃあ、その。
Reina tidied up the front of her skirt. Then she leveled out her thighs so they'd be perfect as a pillow. Damn it! I checked my cell phone. It was from Torio. That absolute nuisance.
オーロから電話してって言ったんでしょ？出なよ。
Huh.
もしもし、オーロ。
Hey, doing okay? By your tone, you sound like you're fine. Cool, cool. Catch you later then. So then, about that lap pillow, Reina.
ちゃんと出なさい。
God damn it. I called him back. Hello.
もしもし、なんだったんださっきの。
It just kinda poured out of me for a second there. Don't worry about it. So, I'd imagine you've already heard from Chieka.
あ、うん。
I heard you're quitting the team. Torio fell silent. What the hell? Tell me I'd never quit already. I knew better than anyone that he had no other path forward in life other than baseball.
なわけないじゃん。
I bet. You see? Thought so. Either the guys at Hamanan misunderstood, or else Kikuchio's little group misheard. I'd known as much the whole time, and I wasn't the least bit shocked.
また電話するよ。あ、もう冬休みだよな。今度チエカちゃんも交えて3人で会えないか？
No need, I'm going to see Chieka over New Year's. See you later.
また電話する。
I hung up. Man.
どうなった？
Nothing really. The topic of whether he might quit the baseball club came up, but it sounds like it was a huge misunderstanding.
なんでそんな話？
Who knows? It kinda just happened. I didn't know the particulars of what led to that misunderstanding, nor did I care to. With that out of the way, Reina, it's lap pillow time.
しつこいな。どんだけやってほしいのよ。
Of course I want you to.
おお、逆ギレした。
I'll try, but you did say I could use your lap anytime. Hoop.
あぶね。
Don't dodge. I dove onto the floor.
痛そうだね。
Lappillow. You told me you'd do it for me.
流れるようにダダっこモード。この男できる。そしてうざい。まったくもう。おいで。
Yeah. A lap pillow. No, an embrace. I buried my face into her chest. My face was in her boobs.
よしよし。落ち着け。
Ooh. All the tension I'd worked up was absorbed into her boobs. I got to enjoy something even better than a lap pillow, but damn it, Reina was a cut above me in every conceivable way. That was how the last night of the second term came to an end. All that remained was the end of term ceremony on Monday. The only question left would be how the most climactic and decisive moment of our young lives would turn out.